Hi, Sarah Banas here. Simply Sarah Made Easy. I have something incredibly neat to show you today. We're going to make these denim pocket cards. So these are fantastic for things like Father's Day. For somebody who you just really don't know what to get for them, you slip some money inside or a gift card inside the pocket, and it's just a really cute gift. Um, and they're very easy. So let's get started. We can get rid of all of this. If this video is of interest to you or helpful, like the video, that helps me out a lot. But also subscribe to my channel. When you're subscribed to my channel, you'll get a notification when the new videos come out, probably once or twice a week. Lots of good videos on not just how to use your machines, but also how to design for yourself. So like I said, subscribe to my channel, you'll get a notification. One other thing real quick, join us on Facebook. So we run some of the largest Cricut, silhouette, and sublimation groups on Facebook. Um, Definitely join us there. I'm going to link in the video description because I'm doing this on Cricut. You can do this on Cricut. You can do it on silhouette. It's all the same process. We're just going to cut it with our Cricut today. But because I'm cutting it with, or because we're cutting it with a Cricut, I'm going to link Cricut for beginners. It's probably about 730,000 members. Super friendly, super helpful. You'll fit right in. So join us there. I'll link that in the video description. So we can get rid of this. I'm also going to link the SVG for this file that we're cutting today. Love this designer. She's incredibly talented. All of her work is fantastic. This is a great file. So we can get rid of this. Okay, so this is essentially what the outside of your card will look like when we're done. Oops, I didn't mean to move that. We can get rid of all of this. I'm going to upload the file so we can start from the beginning. Now, I already have it uploaded here, but just in case you don't know how to upload a file, once you have purchased and downloaded the file, you'll go to upload. This is on a Windows PC. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit different if you're on a Mac or iOS or Android. So then go to browse. Here's mine right here. I'm going to go to open. And then I'm going to go to upload on the bottom right. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click add to canvas in the bottom right. Okay. So now I have, this is my file when I upload it. Okay. I am not going to resize this. I'm going to leave it to size because I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut mine on 12 by 12 cardstock. If you only have letter size cardstock, you can size this down. So I'm going to go ahead and so the first thing I'm going to do, you can see this is all attached over here. Okay, so on the top here, I'm going to click ungroup. Okay, and that's one ungroup. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to move this out of the way. So this is your belt. Now with this belt, I'm just going to cut this out of plain old cardstock. If you want to, you can use patterned cardstock. You can, if you have a Big Shot or some other kind of embosser, you can emboss your cardstock. There's lots of cool stuff that you can do with the belt if you want to really, I just want to make this nice and easy for you so you can see the basics, and then you can expand on that if you like to. But there's lots of cool stuff. If you want to, you can write, Dad on the belt or make it look like it's like engraved in it, whatever you want to do. Okay, so, and then this is your inside sheet of paper. So this is going to be when you open the card, that's what you'll see inside. We're going to do some writing on there. Okay, and then this right here is the main part of your card. So you can see this also is attached. We're going to, again, with that selected, you can see it's selected by the bounding box around it. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go to ungroup. Okay, and I'm going to, again, ungroup. Okay, so now we have, and I'm just doing that just so that I can show you because what we have here. So we now have, this is our pen, okay, and this is our cut, okay. So this pen part right here, what we want to do, you can see right now it's set to basic cut. We want to click on that, and we want to go right here. We want to go down to draw, and we want to go to pen, okay. And one other piece here that I want to show you, this, oops, let's move this out of the way. This right here, this line right here. So what that is your, what's the word I'm looking for? That's where you would, let me here, let me see. I can't think of the word, so I'm going to have to look here. Score. So that is a score line, okay? So if you have a scoring tool for your machine, you can leave that there and your machine will automatically walk you through scoring. It'll have you put in your scoring tool and it'll score it for you. I am incredibly unorganized and cannot find my scoring tool. So if you do not have a scoring tool or you're like me and cannot find your scoring tool, I'm going to show you how to just manually score it, which is fine. It's neither here nor there. So I'm going to delete that line because I don't need that. Okay. So now I'm going to move this back into place. I'm going to move this as our pen. So let's make sure. So click on this and yep, this is still set to basic cut. And this part here is set to pen. Okay. So that's what we want. So I'm going to put this back into place exactly where it belongs on here. Okay. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click off of that. I'm going to select both of these. So all I'm selecting is the blue and I'm selecting the pen. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm over here on the right, I'm going to click attach. Okay. So now I have attached those. So now when it does, it writes and then cuts, it's going to keep everything where it belongs together. Okay. So now we have 3 pieces. Okay. We have this, this, and this. Okay. So now we're going to go to make it. And what's going to happen is it's going to put each of, I'm sorry. I actually want to do some writing on our card. So here's our card on the inside. So now I'm going to make a text layer. And for this, I'm not going to go too overboard because I don't want you to be sitting here and watching me type out text. I was going to write something like, for all you've done for me, I can't do, I can't something. And then, but here's some money to go out to dinner, something like that. I'm just going to put love you, Dad. Okay. Just to make it nice and simple. So to get your writing, if you're not familiar with how to get your writing fonts in Design Space with my font selected, I'm going to go up to fonts. I'm going to click on that. Up here on top, I'm going to click on Cricut. And then over here on the right hand side, I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to do right here, writing. Okay. And now it's going to bring up my writing fonts. I'm just going to pick something really easy. I'm going to pick this one. That's a cute font. Okay. So with that selected, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to love you, Dad. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is with this selected, I'm going to make sure this is on writing. Make sure that the style is on writing so that it's actually writing it out as a single line and it's not drawing either side. Okay. So it's on writing and let's see. Okay. So that's all set. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to make this smaller. Oops. And I'm going to put this right here. A little bit smaller. I'm going to put it right about right there. I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to go to align on the top here, and I'm going to center horizontally. Okay. And then I'm going to go down here on the bottom right, and I'm going to do the same thing where I do attach. And then that's going to do the same thing where the drawing over here does. Now we're all set. Okay. So now I'm going to go to make it. I'm going to do this on matte. Confirm. Okay, so the first part we're going to do is we're going to do the white part with the writing. So now let's go over to the machine and I'll show you how to load the pen in, and then what's going to happen is it's going to write it and then it's going to cut it out. Okay, let's go over to the machine. Okay, before we go over to the machine, I want to show you just one last step in case you're very new and you're not aware or familiar with all of the steps. I want to make sure that you have all of the information that you need to move forward. So what you're going to do with that, you're going to click continue, and then this page is going to come up. And then I just want to show you real quickly how to select your material if you're unfamiliar with that. So this first cardstock we're using is just basic 65 pound. I use Recollections brand cardstock. You can get it at Michael's or you can get it at Amazon. I'll link that in the video description as well. So I'm going to click, for that one, I'm going to click Cardstock Intricate Cut. That's going to give you a perfect cut on the 65 pound Recollections brand cardstock, okay? So now it's going to tell me to load my tools. So these are the two things you need. Your blade, which is most likely already in, that's going to be in your B clamp. And then an A clamp, you're going to load the 0.4 pen, okay? So now let's go over to the machine. Okay, so here we are at my Maker 3. You can do this on any, Explore, Maker, whatever Cricut you have. For this particular file, you will need an Explore or a Maker. There is a Joy one as well, a Joy file, which has the pieces separated and is made for the smaller cut size. But for this one, Explore Maker, okay? So we have our white cardstock on the mat. This is our 0.4 Cricut pen. I will link that in the video description as well. Okay, so I'm taking the cap off, putting it on top. I'm opening this. Did you hear that click down in there? I'll show you again. Okay, close it. And now you can see that it's flashing, so that means that it's ready to go. When you're loading your mat, you put it under the guides, and then you're not pushing it in, but you are holding it taut. So see what I'm doing? I'm like kind of just holding it taut while I push this button. Okay, now it's all set. It's gonna go ahead and scan that real quick just to see which mat I'm using. Okay, and then this will start flashing. Oh, you know what I just realized? I just realized that I loaded my mat backwards. You want your on the upper left. No problem though. So it'll real quickly scan again. And then this button, this arrow will start flashing. And then you push that. Okay, see how that's flashing? Push that. And now the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to do the writing portion first. Okay, so it's going to write out, love you, Dad. This is going to be super duper cute. Now, like I said, join us on Facebook. So our groups, we try to cover the gamut of everybody who crafts in this segment of crafting. So plotters and sublimation, Photoshop, design, everything that, kind of follows this line of crafting. Cricut for Beginners is just, I guess we've been around probably 4 or 5 years now. Just a really fantastic, friendly group. Okay, so now the writing portion is done. You did a really nice job with it. And if you're unfamiliar with Cricut pens, it's going to do the cutting now. There are so many awesome pens out there. I should have done it like with one of the glitter pens, but most guys probably aren't looking for a glitter pen. But the glitter pens are really super, super pretty. Okay, so now this part is all done. Okay, so now this is going to flash. We're going to push that to eject to the mat. And then let me just show you real quick. When you are taking cardstock off of a mat, you don't want to peel the cardstock. You want to pop it up, and then you want to put your finger underneath it and kind of lift. Okay, that'll keep it from curling on you. So that's this part, okay? So now we're going to go back over to my laptop, and I'm going to show you what it does, how it shows you what's next on your mat and what you need to do next. Okay, so now we are going to do this next layer, which is the brown belt. Okay, for that, we are again just using a basic 65 pound Recollections brand cardstock. Now, for some reason, in all of the Recollections packs, the browns and the tans are just a tad bit thicker, and you can feel it when you pull it out. So for the browns and the tans, what I always do is I choose cardstock for intricate cuts, but then on the pressure part, I add more. Okay, and now that will give you a perfect cut on the browns and the tans. Okay, so now we're going to go back over to the machine. We're going to load our brown into on our mat, and it's going to cut that. Okay, so we are back at the Maker 3. I have the brown loaded onto the mat. I went ahead and I left the pen in because we're going to be using it again in a minute. Not on this layer, but on our final layer, so I just left it loaded, which is fine. So again, holding it taut, press the load button. Okay, and it's just going to read the mat real quick. And it's going to start flashing. Click the arrow. And now this time it's just going to cut. So it's going to cut out the belt. And again, that added pressure, so it's going to start flashing. Unload. And that added pressure is going to give us a perfect cut on that brown. So you can see that that is perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go back over to the laptop and I will show you the final layer. Okay, so we are back at my laptop and you can see that it is now ready to do the final layer. Now the final layer, let me pull it up real quick. Do you see how it has all of the cut and the write together attached, same as the first layer? So now for this layer, I am using a Cricut brand. It's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. It's a little bit thicker though. It's like almost like a pattern. So I'm going to go to browse materials. I am sure if I wanted to, I could probably find on here, there's probably a perfect cut for it. I'm going to use foil poster board. That should be plenty thick enough to cut it. So I'm going to click done. And as you go, the longer you use your machine, you'll kind of get a feel for, materials that you haven't cut in the past or have cut seldomly. You'll kind of get a feel for what will work as a good cut setting. And that should be perfect. So now it's all set. Now let's go over to the machine and we're going to write and cut this final layer. Okay, so we're again at the Maker. I just want to show you real quick this cardstock we're going to be using. So it's kind of hard to see, but do you see that texture in it? This is a real, and you can use any cardstock you want. This is a really, really pretty. I've been using this a lot lately. This is a Cricut cardstock that I'll link it in the video description. It's just really pretty. It's got a nice texture to it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, again, same thing, load. It's going to read the mat. And then this is going to go through and it's going to do the same thing it did on the first layer. It's going to do the writing part first. So it's going to go through and it's going to write the whole thing. And then it'll go back and it'll cut it all out, okay? So I'm going to let you just see just this first couple of seconds of it, first like maybe 30 seconds of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause the video while it finishes up so you don't have to sit here and watch the whole thing. And I will then bring you over to the craft table and we will go ahead and assemble the whole thing. This is going to be absolutely beautiful. So you can see it's going through and it's writing out all of the dashes now. It'll do the entire draw layer first, and then it'll go back and it'll cut it all. So let's go ahead, let's go over to the craft table now. I'll let this finish up and we will get this all assembled. so everything is all written and cut. We're here at my craft table. I want to show you one thing real quick. I could have stood to calibrate my machine. Okay, and there is a video on my channel on calibration. Okay, so you can see that my right and then cut is a little bit off. It's a little bit closer to this side than it is to this side. It's not going to make a difference. This is going to be cute no matter what. But that is something that if you're noticing that, calibrate your machine. It's incredibly easy. Like I said, I'll link the video right in the video description on how to do it. It's very, very easy. So we'll go ahead and we'll calibrate our machine before the next project. And that's also for print then cut. Anytime you're noticing that your right then cut or print then cut is off, that's what you do. So the first thing we're going to want to do here, we have all of our pieces. This is going to be very easy to put together. First thing we want to do is, because we did not use a machine we didn't use our machine to score, we're going to first score our project, okay? So the way that we're going to do it, let me think for a second. We can score, I'm going to say that the best way to score it is going to be to score it on the back. But let's just see here. So our length is 8.5. So we're going to go with 4 1/4 and 4 1/4. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark it at 4 1/4. Okay, so mark it 4 1/4. Okay, and then the other side will also mark it 4. Oops, did I get my mark there? Just barely. Very, very difficult to see. I'm going to mark that again. Four 1/4. It's very light. And you can go back and erase that if you want to. And when you're done, and then four 1/4. Okay, so now what you're going to do is now you're going to take something like bone fid or anything, really anything that you can just score with, okay? So, and then you're going to take and you're going to line up sorry, I'm going to do it from this side so that I can see it better. Just line up those 2 marks with a ruler or something like that. Hold that down nice and tight. Make sure you get it as straight as you can. Okay, nice and tight. And then take your fid or whatever. I want it a little bit closer. Sorry, I am a bit of a perfectionist. Or as close to perfect as I can get. Okay, so now you're going to take your fid and you're just going to run it. Oops. See, that's what I didn't want to happen. That's okay. It is okie dokie. Okay, and I'm just going to run it. I'm just going to run it nice and I'm not going to push down too terribly hard on the first time. All you really want is just, you want it indented enough that when you go to fold it, that it knows where to fold. I don't know if you can see that line that I made. So now it's going to kind of automatically, you're just going to kind of bend and it's going to kind of automatically go to there. I'm going to make it a little bit deeper because it's not going quite as much as I would like it to. And you'll feel it. You'll feel that it's just kind of automatically going to where it's supposed to go to. And like I said, I mean, if you have the scoring tool and you know where it is, that is a little bit easier just to let the machine do it. But if you do not, you do not have to have one. You can definitely do this. This is not difficult. Okay. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to... Okay, so I'm letting this... Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm making a mistake. So we actually want that on... We want our We want our pocket on the outside front, not on the inside. I was starting to fold it so that it was on the inside. Okay, so now you can see that the fold mark, what we did just now, kind of made it a little bit easier to just kind of get that fold perfect. Okay, and now I'm going to go back and I'm just going to kind of do that. Okay, and now that is the front of our card. Okay, and now what we're going to do, let's actually put our belt on first. Actually, you know, I take that back. I apologize. Let's put this on the inside first. And you can see, unfortunately, I did a little draw mark on here. I don't know if you can see that. I wanted to make sure that this card, that this really pretty Cricut cardstock, that it could, the pen would work on it correctly. So let me talk to you about glue. So you can use just a regular glue stick, like, you know, like the kids use in school. For cardstock crafts, that's what I used for the longest time. And then I switched over. I found out about this. I really like this. It's a very fast acting glue, but not so fast that you can't work with it. It's got the perfect amount of work time. It's got a good viscosity. I bought these on Amazon. I'll link all this in the video description. I bought both these on Amazon. This is like a 12-pack of these. This is like a precision applicator. Super, super easy to work with. So this is what I use now for cardstock crafts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. I probably should have gotten this started before the video. The glue actually, I was surprised by how easy the glue does start on here after you haven't used it for a little bit, but there is a little bit of work time when you haven't used it for a little bit. I'm going to try to get this kind of towards the outside. I'm going to do the corners first, but I don't want it does dry clear, so it's okay if it goes over a little bit, but I don't want it to like go over too much, so I kind of push it towards the inside. And another thing that you can do with this is you can use double-sided, like, what's where I'm looking, it's double-sided tape, but it's like a tape roller, and you can use that also. And then I'm just going to do a nice line, nice line, nice line. And then I'm just going to do like a little bit on the inside. Not a lot, just a little bit. You don't want to make it too thick because you don't want to like get the inside of your card like bumpy. So I'm going to try to pick this up without making a disaster of it on my hands. Okay, and now I'm just going to try to kind of center this on here. There we go. Ooh, that was a lucky drop. Okay. And then I'm going to run it on the edge first, and then there we go. And then pushing out towards the edge so that that glue does kind of get to the edge and give it a good solid seal. And then you can write your name there, the kid's name there, whatever you want. Okay, super pretty. Super, super cute. Okay, so now let's work on the front. Okay, so what we need to do first is, let's put our belt on first. Okay, so the belt is actually going to go right over this line right here. Okay, so I'm going to put my glue on my belt. So glue on the belt. Same thing where I'm going with the corners first. Sides and corners. That. And you can see how much easier that precision applicator works. Now, if you are using a glue stick, which like I said, will work perfectly fine. If you are using a glue stick, it's a little bit messier. You're more likely to get it on your fingers, and it's a little messy. This is pretty clean. I can work with this without really, I probably should have had a paper towel here, but you don't really necessarily need one. Okay, so then I'm going to put that right about right. Actually, I'm going to move it down just a little bit. I think right about right there is perfect. Oops, there we go. Okay. And then I'm going to tap it down just a little bit so the glue doesn't come out. Oh, this is going to be super, super, super cute. I love the nostalgia of it, you know. Something about blue jeans and dads. Okay. All right. So now, and like I was saying, so you can see how there's, you know, so much cute you could do with this belt, right? So if you are somebody who, you know, owns a Big Shot or any kind of like die cutting embossing system like that, or you could even emboss if you have, I mean, you can emboss with your Cricut, or well, I guess you can't emboss, you can deboss, but you know, either way. Or even just like I said with the, we're putting on the tabs right now, but you know, like I said, even just with different patterned cardstock, you know, I mean, there's tons of leather looking cardstocks. Can I get it? Oh, I did it. Look at that. Good job, Sarah. Now let's see if we can. Okay, there we go. So this first one I'm going to put right about right there. Just kind of making sure that your top and your bottom are down because you want it to look like the belt is inside of there. So this I'm going to hold down just for a minute on the top and the bottom so that it isn't like laying flat across it. I mean, it'll look fine if it's laying flat across the top of the card, but it's going to look better if you can make sure that while the glue is curing, that you're holding that top and that bottom part down and keeping it like, you know, tacked to the card. Oh, this is going to be so cute. Oh my goodness, I'm in love. Okay, just do this final part right here. What I should have done is I should have brought like a like my weeding pen or something over so that I could kind of hold down that just get a little bit towards the edge here. So I can kind of hold down the smaller pieces while I'm gluing them. But either way, it's going to be fantastic. Oh, look at that. Lucky side up. That was lucky. Okay. All right, and this one we will put right here, I think. Yep, that's good. Just like that. And then again, holding down the top and the bottom. I probably could have put, I don't cry over spilled milk, but I probably could have put this down a little bit further. Actually, I definitely should have, just because you would have wanted that tab totally down at the bottom. But either way, nobody's going to notice that. So when you're doing yours, though, make sure that you either raise your belt up a little bit or put your tab down just a little bit more so that very bottom part is at the bottom. But either way, no, you don't notice it. It looks fine. This is almost done. Like I said, this glue really has the perfect work time. So that is going to look super cute. So now we just got to put our pocket on. When you're putting your pocket on, a couple of things. Make sure that you're staying inside of those lines, right? Because you want that line to show on the outside. But also you're not gluing the top, obviously, because your top is where your money is going to go in. So, and you're not gluing the inside. You're only gluing. So start at your bottom edge, and then at this edge, and then at this edge, and then kind of work that out. Okay, and then this, but not moving across the top. Okay, and then this line. Make that line a little bit thicker. You want to make sure you're getting a good bond here because you are putting your gift or your gift card inside of there. So you want to make sure you're getting a good solid line of glue. That's important. Okay, then moving down this way. Yeah, I mean, the applicator tip really is where it's at, though. This will make your cardstock crafts so much easier, and they're cheap. This glue isn't incredibly cheap, but it lasts forever. But the applicator tips are very cheap. The applicator bottles, and they come in a nice sized set. So kind of wiggly. Woof. There we go. A little bit of glue came out, but that's okay. So I'm being careful. I'm not like mashing it down. I'm very, very softly pushing it at first just so we can get that good bond. And then when it heals after a second or two, then I can push harder. Okay, so you're just carefully, because you don't want to, even though this glue, even though it heals clear, it does look a little bit more matte. Anytime you have, dry glue, you have a more matte look. So the least you can get out, the better. So again, just pressing softly at first and then pressing a little bit more hard. And I can already feel that I have a perfect press. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic card. And these would sell like hotcakes at shows. People would absolutely love this. You display it with, a couple, even people really like when you put a lot in, put like $100 bill or something like that, and it draws people to look. But you put bills in there or a gift card. Look at that. How fantastic is that? So that's all there is to these. That's how you make these. Super easy, super fun. The dads are going to love them. If you have any questions at all, ask in the video, below the video on YouTube, on the comment section, or better yet, ask right in the group. I'm always available. Make sure you do join us on Facebook. I'll link in the video description. I'll link this file. I will note which Cricut font I use, just because that's a really cute writing font. I will link the pens, the cardstock. I will link the Recollections cardstock. So both of these cardstock, I love the Cricut cardstock because I don't know if you can see. You see that little bit of texture that it gives, that jeans-like texture to it? It's just fantastic. But I also love the Recollections cardstock for other cardstock crafts. So I will link both in the video description. And I mean, that's really about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Make sure you do like and subscribe. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.